What is up, guys? We were back for the second part of the Tinker's Construct Breakdown and Guide for Bedrock Edition. If you didn't see the first part, please go ahead and do so because the first part goes over how you make the Tinker tools, starting off with your basic materials. This is pretty much the first starting steps, and of course, you'll have to get into that before you start with anything else. But you are getting tired. You're getting tired of using stone or wood tools, and you're ready for iron. You're ready to move up a tier. And so this is what this part will be covering. This will be covering basic smelting. We're not getting into super smelting yet. We're just going to cover uh, puny smelting. So to begin, we're going to go over the book. So your materials in you, it shows you how you get the next book as well. And of course, you can make more of these books in the crafting table. So it shows you repairs, it goes over tin ore. So further reading, so it shows you here how to make grout. There's two different ways you can make grout, and we'll go over both of them. And how you make the puny smelt is you take a book and combine it with grout. So essentially this is how you make a lot of the books. So when you're ready to start smelting, if you were wanting to begin learning how to smelt in game, you use a book and combine it with some grout, and you are then able to get puny smelt. And this shows you how to make the other ones like Tinker's Gadgetry, modifiers, and such so on and so forth. And then, but it does not show you how to make the mighty smelting book, which is a completely different one. So getting into, I'm going to go ahead and go into not that one, survival, and we're going to be going over how to get grout, because grout isn't something you find, rather it's something you make. And there's two different ways to make grout, and this is what grout looks like. Looks like a lighter texture. It looks like if you took the clay block, and then you threw on the texture of gravel onto it. And so it's pretty much what it is. This is what it looks like compared to gravel. So you're able to see what it looks like. And so how to make grout? Well, of course you can read it in the book here, but actually, we don't even need this book. We only need this book, and then these tools can all go in my inventory. I should have done this already, but yeah. So going over, so now you do have your Tinker's Punny smelting. Punny smelting is like your first baby steps into smelting. Let's get into it, because again, it shows you how to make grout, and it shows you different things that you can do with what comes from grout. So how do you make grout? So grout is using clay, gravel, and sand, which is why it's funny that it has the texture of gravel. It is pretty much clay, gravel, and sand mixed together. So there's two different ways. You can do it in your inventory, which is you do here. And in your inventory, you can do it and you do a clay ball, and it makes two grout. But if you use the crafting table, you can use oh, it is using this one. Did I not? Okay. I can put this away. This is weird. So it's using that recipe. Bam. You're then able to use a full clay block and then multiple blocks of sand and gravel to make 8 grout blocks. So there's multiple ways to make grout. This one is the beginning way, the friendlier way to do it, but I mean, realistically, they're both quite cheap and affordable to do. So for lots of grout, you can always use this one. But then there's still the other one, but they will not show up at the same time. So you'll kind of have to pick and choose. So that's how you make grout. And well, what is the purpose of grout? Well, grout is what you need to smelt into seared brick. Seared brick is how you start making the Tinker's smeltery stuff, because you can't just smelt iron to make Tinker's tools. You have to do it in a certain format. So beginning with this, so grout can be smelted in both a regular furnace and a blast furnace. So we'll go ahead and just separate the grout here. So, and of course, using a furnace, you're able to smelt it with all sorts of goodies. So I see it's smelting in here, and then we can throw the grout in here with some, I don't know, we'll throw in leaf litter, and the grout is able to be smelted in the blast furnace for seared bricks. So you're able to use both of these to make grout and make seared bricks, turn grout into seared bricks. So seared bricks. Now you're making your seared bricks. You're beginning to make your seared bricks. So seared bricks, or the individual brick item, could be turned into multiple different things. You can grab them here. You're able to grab the bricks themselves and use it to make seared brick blocks, which is pretty much like the cornerstone foundation of a lot of different bits and bobs. Then as you see here, so it does change from Java. In Java Edition, to make seared cobblestone, you actually just throw it into the smelter, but here is combining it with bricks to make seared glass. It is taking a piece of glass and is surrounded with seared bricks. Then you're able to turn the seared cobblestone into seared stone, and then stone into cracked stone. You can turn polished stone using. So there's all sorts of decorative blocks here. And if you look around here, if you look at the base I built here, I use different seared bricks and tough blocks and seared glass. For some reason, the lava texture isn't wanting to load, so I don't know what's that about, but this one's working. I don't know. But of course, I used the different seared bricks. Use normal seared bricks, seared cobblestone, detailed seared bricks. So there's all sorts of different little things you can do in terms of decoration. And of course, I'm going to go ahead and grab the blocks here, and you can put them as shown here. You could put them into stone cutter to get at least slabs, and you can use get some chiseled seared bricks. So, but what is the main purpose of seared bricks? You're not really using it to make decoration blocks. Of course you can, but there is a further purpose to it. So we flip over to the next page, we see the melter. The melter is pretty much a tiny little version, and here it is right here, a tiny little version of the behemoth that is the smelter. So the melter is sort of like you can place it down. It's a tiny version, is so you're able to make higher tiers of Tinker's tools earlier on. And of course, this is the recipe for it. It is 3 seared brick blocks, 4 seared bricks, and seared glass, which I do have all right here in the chest here that I went ahead and grabbed. And of course, then you're able to craft it. So placing this down. So I do already have one placed down, but I do want to just go ahead and place this one down too. And it is placed down. It is like this, and it is as simple as that. And then to pick it up, you're able to right click it, and it tells you what's in it, how many blocks of stuff's in it. But right now there's nothing in there, so there's no fuel, there's nothing in it. And then to destroy it, you have to destroying it. You can pick it up with your bare hands. Okay, yeah, you can pick it up with your bare hands. Of course, I already do have all of it placed. So, but this is going to be kind of useless by itself. You're going to need a few other components with it in order to make any sort of actual functionality out of it. So this is when we get into the casting basin and the casting table. These two are, of course, here. This is how you make blocks items, and this is how you make the actual tool pieces and parts that you will need in order to make higher tiers. And of course, we'll go over the next page here, and it does show you. So this is how you choose tools, but faucets, and then there we go, casting table, and then the casting table is made by using seared bricks. Both of these are used. All of this is made by seared bricks. So for the casting basin, you will need to do it in a 7 seared bricks. For some reason, is blocking it, and you cannot see it. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for doing that. So it is pretty much, if you do it like a pants formation here, I'll do it. So you do it like this. You do it this way for the basin, and then you do it, wrong thing, and then you do it this way for the casting table. But right now, you will only need the casting table. I do not believe this can make blocks, but I mean, again, it is something you can use it for. I mean, I'm just going over everything you'll need. And of course, these little things right here are called faucets. Faucets is made as you use your bricks to make it into the shape of a bucket. This here is like a bucket. You make it, then you're able to attach it. But there's multiple ways in order to transfer materials in and out of these. So let's go over how or what materials can go in there and how you start making your actual materials. And of course, this chest here will now go over. So here's the different fuel types you can use. You can use coal, charcoal, and lava. And using lava bucket here, of course, then you're gonna see this little thing right here. That isn't for decoration. Oh, oh, oh! That don't do that. Do not. Oh, yeah, don't do what I did. Do not do what I did there. I made a mistake. I do not right click, do not crouch when you're doing it. So in order to pretty much what you have to do is you just have to place it in. So standing normally, do not crouch like I did. Do not be a big dummy like I was. You see this little indicator? That is a fuel indicator. It will then let you know how much fuel is there. Of course, you can also right click it too, and it says 8 out of 8. It shows that there is nothing in the tank right now. There's no materials in there. So that is what we're going to change. So there's starting out, you can probably guess the best bet to use would be iron, but there's ways to make the tools. It isn't just pour it out. You have to use a casting table. So you have your fuel in there and you're ready to start making your stuff, but you have to make cast. So if I wanted to put some iron in there, and there's multiple different ways to make a cast. What is a cast? Well, cast is this thing. If it wants to work, I'm gonna need to hate these there we go. These are casts. Of course, you see these are made of gold, which we'll talk about a little bit. But you'll need these in order to make the actual tool parts and pieces to make the tools. So uh, getting to it, but there's ways to do it in the early game. So if you don't have faucets on your thing, you can use different things, like such as these buckets. The copper can or copper bucket and tin can are used to take materials out of stuff like this in the smelter and then transfer it, move it. I'm gonna be honest here, I'm not sure. As you can see here, the 200 buckets or mill buckets. I'm actually not sure what the MB stands for, but that is pretty much is just like one material. It costs one material to make. It's like one ingot, and this is pretty much like half an ingot. I'm gonna be honest here. I'm quite not sure what the tin can is actually meant to be used for. I know. Oh well, this is a guide, and that is true. This is supposed to help guide you. But even I can't quite figure out what the tin can is. Honestly, you can just not even worry about the tin can. I'm literally not even sure what that is used for. So how do you start making cast? Well, there's two ways to make cast. You can use just one time only cast, and one time only cast is used by making sand. Get out of here, and of course go over. Making these, or you're able to make these in your inventory, and it's just one piece of sand. One piece of sand for 4, and they work like the blank patterns to where you can place it down. So we're going to place the sand down. So I see now we have this sand in the thing here, and I want to make an axe. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place the axe down in there. I'm able to do that. I'm able to take the axe out, and I have this little cast here. Oh, and taking it out does remove it, but you don't lose anything. You gain everything back. So there. And I have my axe head. So I'm ready to make an iron axe head. So I'm going to put some iron in here. I believe. There we go. One ingot. It does go in. And there's actually great ways to use this, especially for early on. And now, but it does take it, but it is cheap, though. It's like a one piece of sand, and you're able to make iron tools. So that is how you can make casts in the early game if you just wanted to use your stand, get some quick iron tools, but there are other ways to do it. So there's more ways to do it, and we're going to talk about the other way to do it, which is going to be the way I'm about to show you. So of course I've seen here there's these gold casts. Now gold casts work quite a little bit differently, but they work the same. You can place a tool head here, you place your tool head in here, and then you're able to start filling up. As you see, the more you use it, the more fuel it will lose. So doing this does that. So I placed a little bit of gold in there, and then it'll tell you if you have enough to do it. Do it because casts and certain materials cost. So we did 4, 4. So, oh, am I messing up? Why isn't it? No, no fluids found for That's how you make cast. Maybe it's the bucket. There we go. Okay, that's how you do it. Okay. So as you see here, you're able to use the copper can to take materials out. So if you do not have faucets, you're then able to pour it in there, it's pretty much the equivalent of 1 ingot. So I put 1 ingot of gold in there, and as you see there, the cast is there. So casts are permanent. Once you make one, that is the only one you need. It is not like the patterns. It is not like the sand cast. It is permanent, which is exactly like Java, which is good. And then bam. So the can holds up to 1 ingot. The copper can, the tin holds half an ingot. I'm not sure. Again, like I'm not sure like what there is, because there is no nugget cast that can be made. I'm not sure what the tin can is actually supposed to be used for. But that is how you start making tools, or of course higher tier tools with the cast. And of course, and it works with all of them. They all work the exact same. So you'll have to use stone tools. You cannot use wooden tools. You can only use stone tools in order to actually make this. But there's also a really big benefit. Of course, to make the cast, you'll need iron. But Tinker's Construct has a funny little way of working. So you're able to make special casts. So using a seared brick and a piece of sand, and I'm going to throw some gold in there. I'm going to show you how this gets done. And so I'm going to make a sand cast here. And using the sand cast, and then we're going to put some gold. Oh, no, that wouldn't work. Actually, it doesn't make sense. So, Tinker's Construct Smelter, and it pretty much would be better to use your iron and like copper and stuff on for a very certain reason, and we're about to show you. So, I see here, I'm going to scoop it out. Now I have a copper can with molten iron, and then we're going to place it in, wait for it to harden. Bam! You get 2. So you put 1 material in there, you get 2 out of it. And you can double your iron, you can double all your resources that can go into this. And it's such a big benefit, especially early game once you get this done. Of course, it does show you. So we're going to go back some, kind of show you. See, this is the tin and copper cans. Those are the recipes for it. Of course, buckets are used for whole cans, and it are used to make the gold cast. Of course, we'll go ahead and make another one. I'll show you another one real quick because we'll be right. So we're gonna go ahead and take this, and of course you can fill it up with more fuel, just like that. So we're gonna go ahead and place this, and then so we need a full block. So now that I know, like, do it, bam. So you grab this and bam, there is your iron or your gold, like your pickaxe cast, and then you're able to put some iron in here, and then you're able to just hit the faucet. So faucets work is when they are attached to something like this, you're able to just hit them, and then you're able to then just use it. So we're gonna put some bunch of iron in here, and then you're able to make oh, you're able to make iron blocks. So this stuff does take a little bit longer to make. Yeah, it does take a little bit longer to make, but now you have a whole iron block. But if you didn't want an iron block, you want to make some more iron tools. Oh, there's not enough space. But you're able to put the iron and stuff back in there for your needs as well. So you're able to recycle the resources back into the melter and get your stuff back. So, but you're not able to do it with tools. Once you make a tool, that's kind of just it. So if you made the wrong one, well, you gotta make more. So that's pretty much just how that works. And again, here's all the casts. This is the casting table. This holds all the different casts. And it's sort of the same way, but seems to be more annoying where you can't look at it directly, open it. This just holds all your different casts, but you only need to make one of each type of cast. So going over the different casts, of course, you have your axe, your pickaxe, you have your sword cast, you have your shovel cast, your rod cast, your repair kit, your cleaver guard, cleaver. Then you have bucket, which that's different. And then you have emerald and diamond cast. So this is mainly for the smelter because that is also how you can make diamonds and then make diamond tools and stuff. You're able to melt them in the smelter. But given how long this episode's kind of been, I do want to talk about something else. And there is of course, something that is mentioned in here is the alloy. Um, the alloy. So of course, that goes for the sand cast. This does the gold cast. So I guess again, I probably should have read, big dummy. But then you get to the alloy crafter because Tinker's Construct has special alloys. It is not just the vanilla stuff you use. You can make special new alloys and materials in here. You're able to make netherite. So let's go over them. So there is amethyst bronze, there's Hepicin? I'm not sure how to pronounce that one. Millennium, Netherite. You can make Netherite, Pig Iron, Queen Slime, Rose Gold, and Slime Steel. These are all special materials made just for Tinker's Construct. And I see this is the recipe. It's very cheap. It's just 3 seared bricks, a crafting table, and a furnace, and you're able to make special alloys. So I'll go ahead and show you them right now. We'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and just start throwing out the stuff out my inventory that we don't need right now. This doesn't cost anything. You can just make it as is. So we'll go ahead and we'll make some rose gold and then we'll make some bronze and there we go. And we got 2 new special ores just for us to use. So getting further into it, this does go into the materials, but there is something a little bit funny about this, and we'll talk about this. So whereas you can make iron. Iron has the special trait of magnetic. Bronze, which has reinforced, and bronze has a harvest tier of diamond. So it's even better than iron, but has the same durability as iron. Gold has the gold tier. Um, Pig iron has diamond, and then rose gold, which is same thing as gold, but then of course they have all their different traits. And then this does show you the mighty smelting, which is just a seared brick and then a book. So going over to their traits, you have magnetic, creates a magnetic field attack that attracts materials. So if you're using it for a pickaxe, it kind of works like a magnet. It draws some towards you. Speed channels a push of energy, granting heightened speed when wielding. So if you're holding a gold tool out with this ability, you're able to move faster. Pig iron has the tasty ability. You're able to eat your tools, eat your tools, replenish your hunger. Um, I can't see. Experience increases the amount of experience you get when defeating mobs and mining ores. So of course, if you're just looking to mine some stuff, you're wanting to get some more XP for mob farms or whatever you need XP for, that will help you there. And then reinforce. Each use has a 20% chance to avoid consuming durability. So bronze is quite good, but I do want to talk about bronze. So it does show you can make bronze here. It says, oh yeah, you can make bronze, but actually a silly little thing they didn't do. So there is all this iron in here. We're not going to get into that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take the charcoal out here. I made this one over here for this silly little purpose. So we're going to go ahead and get all nice and filled up. All right. So of course it's filled up with fuel, and in the book you see bronze. It looks so good. It's like the same tier as diamond. Should I keep doing it? Should we keep doing it? Yeah, they decided, oh wait, you can't make bronze. So they're going to show you bronze, but you can't make it in here. The only way to make bronze is by throwing it in here. So when you make bronze and pig iron, or like rose gold and stuff like here, oh, that was rose gold, but bronze the same way. You can't do it. You can't put it in here. But there's something that's even more funny and more twisted. So here's bronze ingot. I'm sorry, how does that make sense? Class, anyone? Anyone has the answer for the class today? Raise your hands. Oh wait, no, that doesn't. That doesn't make sense. How how is it that makes no sense? Like how is that why? Why does it work like that? And it's kind of misleading because it shows you you're able to make these cool materials, but you can't do anything with them. You can only use iron and gold, and like gold you need for obviously for the casting, so you're able to only really use iron. So I mean, this stuff, this is cool. This is kind of the first step, but you can also just kind of skip it altogether and just get into the big furnace, which is how you make all your other materials anyway. So, but hey, this is just covering over everything. I just wanted you to cover the basic smelting. So you're now able to make iron tools. In fact, we will actually just go ahead and make some. We'll make some iron tools because why not? So, let's see. Do I have to fight you? How do I? There we go. I got you to work. So, if you also notice too, there is no binding, which is also different from Tinker's construct. Again, just different. Java Tinker's construct, where you're able to make custom bindings. No, there's only the string binding. That is it. That is it. That's the only string binding. That's it. There's no other binding in the game. So we'll grab this. And over here is this is how you kind of make your tools. You're able to make the iron pickaxe in here, and bam. So now we have an iron pickaxe. So it's pretty much just that simple. Of course, it's just it has 779 durability with the magnet ability. So see, they're like I'm not anywhere close to these blocks. So we're gonna mine all the way over here. And see the blocks are drawn to me. So when if you're doing big mining excavations, this could be quite a good to use resource to have just to make something. And of course, I do want to make the so, oh, I do want. So that's pretty much just going to be it. I was going to say I want to make the bronze, but there'd be no point in doing that. But that's pretty much just going to be it for now. And just then get this book just covers. If you were wanting to just go ahead and make some beginner tools, so make some iron tools using Tinker's construct. This is just how you do it. Me personally, I would just recommend you just skip this step altogether, and you just go ahead and just make the big furnace because a lot of this is there's less materials you can put into it and it's more limited on what materials you can actually even use. So being realistically, you should just make this one and you shouldn't worry about this stuff. Like you can, like you definitely can. Of course, that's Tinker's construct. So if you're starting out, you can maybe, if you wanted to, you can rush to this stuff. You can rush to making all this stuff real quick and use it. And going over, there also isn't copper, so I don't they updated it. They never updated this to have copper tools, I believe. So I do not know when the last time this was updated, but they did add bronze, so you're able to at least make copper materials using copper, but you're not able to make pure copper tools like you are now in vanilla Minecraft. So that's gonna be it for part two of the beginning of smelting, or baby steps to smelting. For those of you who watched the end, thank you for watching, and I hope this guide series is helping you. If you have any other questions, or maybe you just will have some many more tips and pointers you can point out, maybe why there is a tin can that holds less than 1 ingot worth of material, always feel free to leave comments down below. Of course, they mean a lot, and they will greatly help out me and other people. So again, thank you for your support, and thank you for watching.